On December 23rd, I posted this video titled The Road to Ultra. And I can say for certain that I filmed this video with heavy feelings regarding my health, my problems with addiction, and feeling down because even though I was well aware I needed to work on those things, I never took action that lasted long enough to make a significant difference in my life. The day I filmed that video, I committed to living sober and to my goal of becoming an ultra marathon runner instead of just being a fan of the runners that we all love on YouTube. This channel was created that day to document my journey in hopes that maybe someday someone feeling the same way I did would find my journal, watch it, and realize that if I can do it, they can too. With that being said, I just completed the first race that I committed to on the road to Ultra. So today we are going to talk about the Chicago New Year's Eve 5K.
Tommy, my boy, lazy Wisconsin, up tonight, shining through the tree. Crickets are singing in light.
For starters, I'd love to thank everyone that's been on the journey with me. I really appreciate your time, your support, and your comments. I'm super proud of this little small community that's building. The day of the race, I woke up at 311 pounds and my mind was set on convincing me to bail out and not go to the race to avoid embarrassing myself in front of so many people. I was like this close to verbally saying out loud, I'm not going to the race today. But I took a little bit of time and prayed on it and was quickly reminded that this is the path I need to be on. The whole way to the race, I had butterflies in my stomach and find that surprising because I'm not the kind of person to get nervous at that level. I honestly can't remember the last time I felt that nervous, and I've been in all kinds of weird situations, but this was different. It was intentional. I can't describe it just yet. But one of the cool things is that my wife, Jessica, signed up to run the race with me at the last minute, which was awesome because who better to share this experience with than my best friend? You know, we ended the year shoulder to shoulder, putting in work together. We arrived at Millennium Hall to pick up our race packet right on time. The organizers were working like a well-oiled machine and had us out of there quickly, which was great because we were about a half a mile out from the race location and it made that walk super calm. Like I didn't feel stressed at all. I was surprised by how many people were at the race because the whole week leading to the event, I kept on picturing like 30 people standing around in the cold downtown Chicago waiting for the race to start. And this is probably what worked up my nerves because I pictured myself sticking out like a sore thumb, but I was honestly surprised by how many other heavier runners I got to see that day. And even though I didn't want to be all obvious about it, I was itching to make eye contact with them and give them that nod. You know, that look that says, I see you, go crush it, my friend. But it didn't happen. You know, Jessica and I were towards the end of the crowd at the starting line. So we were in crowd C. And when the race started to move along, it started really slow because we were in the most crowded section. And for a split second there, I was worried. It's like, dude, we're going to be stuck behind all these people. Luckily, they all passed us. And I'm extremely grateful for actually because I got to discover a new slow pace at which I can run for longer than I did during my previous runs. To the point where I think we did more than a quarter mile of a straight run when typically I don't run more than like a block, or at least I didn't during my training. When I started my weight loss journey, I was walking 22-minute miles, and my goal for this race was 15 minutes per mile. I've done most of my training on a paved trail in the forest, and that trail is nice. It's a little windy, and there are some hills, but nothing major. However, it provided the perfect terrain for me to train because it made the flat trail at the Chicago New Year's Eve 5K seem easy for us. Like I didn't have to push myself and was honestly surprised by how well things were going. Our times were 15:24 for the first mile, 16:13 for the second, 15:50 for the third, and 2:36 for the final stretch. We did a lot of walking, and maybe about 40% of it was at a running pace. Our total time was 49 minutes and 27 seconds, which is 3 minutes slower than I wanted, but a lot faster than I expected based on our training, if that makes any sense. There was, however, a few challenges, and I'm glad they popped up now, although I'm sure they will continue to show up as I get closer to the Chicago Marathon in October. The first challenge was breathing. I hyped myself up so much mentally that I would get out of breath and then be forced to slow down to be able to catch up again. This is an area that can use some improvement. And now that I'm aware of how that works, I can, focus on it a little bit more when I'm out training for the next race. The second challenge was hydration. The race took place at 8 in the morning, and by that time, I typically already drank a minimum of 40 ounces of water, but I didn't want to have to go look for a bush at the Chicago lakefront because there isn't any bushes, and I just didn't drink enough water prior to the race, and my mouth was super dry the whole time. I plan on restocking on some Element salt packets and getting more intentional about the way I hydrate to make sure that this doesn't happen on any future races. The third issue that I came across didn't happen during the race, but immediately after, and it was my feet. My feet were cramping horribly after the race. It's already been 24 hours and my feet still hurt a little bit. And I understand that it was my fastest 5K to date. I'm overweight. I didn't hydrate well, but this is something that I need to fix as soon as possible if I'm going to make it to an ultra marathon before I turn 41 in March of 2025. Now that this race is over, it's time for me to get ready for my 10-mile race on May 11th at the F3 Cap Sours Trail. This race is going to be on a different terrain, mostly dirt, some gravel, lots of hills and trees in the middle of the forest. I'll be posting more videos regarding the training for that event, but I can tell you now that my weight is one of the things that needs to be addressed so that I can run the distance at the speed that I want to without it affecting my goal of running the Chicago Marathon in October this year. All of the early mornings and late nights since I got on this weight loss journey have been extremely worth it. I'm finally at the point where working out, eating clean, drinking water, staying sober It's no longer something that I have to do. It's something that I want to do. It's becoming more of a lifestyle. If you too are on a journey to lose weight, clean up your habits, and accomplish something big, I invite you to walk with me as I blaze the road to Ultra. My friends, in a time when there's so much happening around the world, you don't have to do it alone. I appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more of this journey with you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Be well.